So this is late 1800s, early 1900s from the Meyer family. And what is so cool about this is all these recipes, despite the book falling apart, they're all here. So we have sugar cakes and layer cake and cake without butter. And so what's really cool about these is if you have these old recipe books at home, try to keep them together, try to collect them here, and write stories. So if you remember growing up, eating this pound cake from your grandmother, write a little bit about that. Write a little description about how it made you feel, what kind of occasions they were used for. Because all these years later, how cool would it be for us to know what occasions the caramel cake was being made for, or the chocolate cake?
Yeah.
And even if they're falling apart like this, so books can be saved. It does cost a little bit of money, but it's worth it. But if you can't do that, go ahead and scan or take pictures of these. There are so many cool scanning apps out there as a way to preserve these.
It's just family history.
It is, and it's important too, because I think we often overlook the significance of food in telling our story. So actually in October of 2026, we're going to be opening a food exhibit called Shared Story, Shared Table. And this is the kind of thing we look for because so many communities are built on gathering together and telling stories and making food. So even if you're like, well, this is just a cake everyone makes, it's still important to your family and it's important to document why. So definitely as you're getting ready for Thanksgiving, as you're going through these old books, just think about the nostalgia behind some of these and, give them a shot too, because I love older recipes because the further back you go, the less detailed they are. So it may just say flour, butter, whatever, with no other instructions, and you just knew how to do it. So there is so much that can be said here. Molasses gingerbread from Waverly. And as you get to tell stories, you're saying, this is so-and-so's waffle recipe. Or what else do we got? Snow custard, apple batter pudding. There's just a lot to say here. So yeah.
As a family, you make these things and you talk about these. We're in the, this is what, even if you don't have stories to go with them, to know that this was something that your grandmother, your great grandmother made.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just powerful.
And it tells so much about the time period, the person, what's available, all of that is so important. So we love to find these kind of things. And like I said, even if it's a common recipe, it's common for a reason.
Yeah.
And once you get the context to it, it makes it even cooler. And then sometimes too, what I love is when you find an old recipe book, but then you go through a photo album, you see that cake on the table. You see, a Thanksgiving dinner, picture of a Thanksgiving dinner. So you can try to connect those dots. Or, if you're going through and you say, my Aunt Martha always used to make snow custard. Well, find that picture and, put them together. So then you can start to leave that kind of document behind.
Well, and just in here, like the bread pudding, it says for the bread pudding, very good indeed.
Very good indeed.
So that's something you would want to try.
Yeah, for sure. And two, sometimes we'll see this a lot where there are cut recipes from newspapers or other cookbooks. Just because they're mass produced like that does not mean they don't tell a story. So these scrapbooks of newspaper clippings or these recipes are important too, because you're seeing trends throughout the years. And sometimes you'll see some that you've never even heard of. So you can't discount when it's not like a homemade from scratch, pure original recipe, because there's still a story to be told here. I would love to just go through and try some of these just to see how they hold up.
Right.
Were they that good? Which I'm sure they were. But yeah, and then kind of going off of that, you're also going to find photo albums. And as you're doing that, sit and talk. So you can see this one was actually recently donated, and there's sticky notes in here. So when I go process it, she went and she marked the family members, everyone she knew. So when I go and put it in the system, I'll be able to record that too, because they don't always write the names down. So there's like a story here. Bond painted this fence without permission.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so she told me this whole story where he didn't like that it was kind of falling apart, so he went and did it himself. Or, you know, there's these other ones too where without the family, I wouldn't know that was Alma.
Not at all.
So go through your photos and do that. Yeah, so sit down with these books and just look for the little details, because again, we may not know what house they're at, but look at the details on the railing on the porch there. That could give us some clues as well. But yeah, take those notes, and if you don't want to keep these for whatever reason, take pictures. Just take as many pictures as you can of each page. And what we do here is, if there is stuff shoved in the pages, take note of where they're at in there before you take them out, because those give you context too.
Yeah.
But it's all good fun. So the more deeper you look, the more you're going to learn. So if you think you know your photo album inside and out, you should go check again.
And talk about this over the holidays,
Yes.
when you've got people together, because somebody may have a story that they remember, an aunt or uncle or a grandparent telling them.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And like you said, the more you can jog that memory, because there may be an instance where, like this, someone may say, oh, I remember Aunt Tilly had a cat with socks on, you know, that you're like, okay, well, that photo's in here. So have those conversations, have fun with it. And if you don't have any of these like antique items, make your own. Start your recipe book, sit down around the family and say, everyone give me your favorite recipe.
Yeah.
And write down why it is, and take pictures, because in 50 years, 100 years, that's going to be so valuable, and it's going to be in a museum.
Yeah, and your grandchildren or great grandchildren will just treasure it.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And someone will, for sure, like this delicious potato tea cake. That just caught my eye. I'm like, oh, that actually sounds good.
That sounds delicious. Yeah.
So someone will appreciate it one day. So, like I've said before, everyone's worthy of being in a museum. Your story is just as important as everyone else's, and the community that it builds, and your family story as well. So make new memories, but also trying to dig into the old ones.